Animal therapy in prisons. And what exactly is it? Well, imagine someone who's in jail training and hanging out with an animal, for example, a dog. Just hanging out with that animal can improve their mental and physical health greatly. Prison environments are typically hostile, create large amounts of stress, and have negative long-term effects. Animal therapy is a rehabilitative tactic for prisoners. The method that's often used to rehabilitate is training animals. To participate in animal therapy while incarcerated, most prisons that have it create a sign-up sheet so whoever would like to can. I read an informative article called Prison-Based Animal Programs, a National Survey. The contents of the article show that the researchers observed and recorded different circumstances of prisons in the U.S. that incorporated animal therapy. In said article, it notes even the mere sight of an animal can reduce tension. Some positive outcomes from animal therapy in prisons include increase of empathy, decrease in violence, isolation, calmness, and self-worth. Animal therapy is suggested to help some illnesses as well, such as coronary artery disease, hypertension, and various psychological problems. Back in the article that I previously mentioned, it also claims that with animals, inmates are given the opportunity to interact with a living being with no interest in their past actions or mistakes.
This might help with the prison system, but how does it benefit the animal? My dog, Louie here, though not part of a prison, are like the animals they might use in prison therapy. Now, most animals that enter these animal therapy programs come from shelters, most importantly, high kill shelters, which means the dogs may have been at their final destination at that point. One example of this is the Positive Change Training Program. To date, more than 300 men have graduated from the program, and roughly 200 dogs from high kill shelters have been rescued and adopted as a result of the inmates' work with them. Not only does this help the prisoners with some of their mental issues, but it helps the animals by preventing them from going under euthanasia, and instead gets them ready for adoption. Though, one issue with this is that either the inmate or the animal will form attachments and they will have to be separated at some point. Otherwise, it is a very cost-effective system as well. A study based on the Florida Department of Corrections reports that per year, it costs just $187 per participant and 50 cents for the Florida Department of Corrections. Overall, it is very beneficial for the dogs as well as the local prisons that it supports.
With the help of animals, humans are able to be introduced back into society rather than unpredictable human behavior. For rehabilitative purposes, we are proposing animal interaction over human interaction. But why? According to sociologist Peggy A. Thoits, the most powerful form of social support is whether a person has an intimate, confiding relationship. Dogs may provide this relationship because they provide non-judgmental affection as well as a sense of security and companionship. It's argued that it's similar to a mother and child relationship, the one-up being that animals are just easier to maintain and take care of. Humans consist of many behaviors. In prison, it's likely that there's no limits to whatever they could do, while animals reduce stress when brought to humans who need more comfort. Although it may seem nice to have animals to help prisoners reform back into society, not everyone is suitable. An individual's background should be always checked before being exposed with an animal meant to stay with them. Negative interactions affect well-being negatively, according to American psychologist Karen Sue Rook. Prisoners and people overall who are mentally and physically unavailable to take care of another living organism typically shouldn't be exposed to one. Much of the reason why rehabilitating prisoners or patients work better with animals have been considered with many other previous programs.
Many prison animal programs have been made in the past. These programs continue to help prisoners' mental and physical health. Some of these programs have demonstrated positive physical and psychological effects on the inmates. In an experiment, inmates who took care of animals needed less medication, were less violent to others, were less depressed, had increased appropriate social behaviors, and had fewer infractions. Even before these programs existed, the effects of animals have been proven to help. During World War II, animals played an important role in prison camps maintained in the United States for German prisoners of war. In New Hampshire, Camp Shark, animals brought guards, prisoners of war, and the local town inhabitants together. The horses the prisoners used for lodging led to interactions with the townspeople, who would wave as the prisoners and horses would pass by in the morning. In addition, the German prisoners adopted wild animals found while working outside the compounds. Taking into account both the benefit to the prisoners and the benefit to the support animals, it is easy to surmise how implementing animal therapy in prisons would lead to rehabilitation. Most prisoners come from a background of trauma. and overall social and emotional benefit of these programs have been shown by healing and the growth of the inmates. The concept of emotional support animals is not new. It has been used in the past, and although these programs have some downfalls, the positives far outweigh the negatives. It is clear that changes need to happen in our prison system. Our recidivism rates are high in America, without rehabilitation being a strong part of programming for inmates. They continue to be affected by their past trauma and recurring trauma in prison. This leads to escalating violence and continued mental health problems, which impact their relationship building, problem solving, and ability to regulate impulses and emotions. Without programs in place, the percentage of inmates who return to prison is very high. Rehabilitative programs, such as animal therapy, are one of the research methods that could help.